I wanted to walk without a cane. I wanted to scrub floors and weed gardens, and I wanted to be the kind of bride any Amishman would have been pleased to marry. Dot often talked about God's sovereignty, insisting that we not question His will. I tried to pay attention, I truly did, and although his words were intended for our entire family, my father emphasized this so frequently, I sensed it was particularly meant for me. Being the eldest, I wished I might contribute more to my family and to the community of the people. It was one of the deepest longings of my heart. Presently, my eyes fell on a recipe for my favorite childhood meal, Amish meatloaf, made with cracker crumbs, onions, and ketchup. It was one Mom had first concocted back before I was born. Dear Mom, I missed her clear to this day. Sighing, I glanced up at the wooden wall plaque I'd helped make in the midst of the most trying time of my young life, a summer of questioning, to be sure. I stared at the words my father had etched into the wood, words taken from 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. A devout and compassionate man, Dot had been mighty concerned over my seeking nature and how it might alter my plan to be baptized into the Amish church. Yeah, that was undeniably a difficult time, one that opened my eyes in countless ways, and my heart most of all. It was a season of sorrow and searching, of questions and answers. It was the summer of my first love.
Chapter 1. June 1951. The morning was warm and oppressive, that 7th day of June. Occasional breezes rippled over Joseph Esh's field and up the gentle rise through a narrow swath of woodland to the sprawling house, which stood like a beacon over the farm on Old Mill Road in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. In the past decade, a dowdy house had been built onto the home's east side, and in that smaller residence lived Joseph's widowed Aunt Nellie. Beyond the main house, below the rise, stood a modest white barn, as well as a woodshed and a rather run-down 6-stall stable. Across the road and up a ways stood the grist mill, where Joseph had worked all of his adult life. His daughters, 17-year-old Maggie and her sister Grace, 16, sat on the wraparound porch, both hulling strawberries. Right after breakfast, Grace had gone to pick the day's ripe yield, and since then she and Maggie had been working together there in the sunshine. But as was often the case, Maggie's fingers were beginning to feel cramped, and they already ached terribly. Peering at Maggie just now, Grace asked, "Need a little break?" Grace's light brown hair was pulled back into a tight bun pinned low at the back of her slender neck, a dark blue bandana tied beneath her chin. "Maybe so." Maggie felt not just achy, but weary, and to think the day was only getting started. "I'll help you into the house." Grace offered a smile. "Come." Ever kind and understanding, Grace's usual caring nature had become nearly motherly the past year since Mamm had suffered heart failure. "No need wait until your hands are numb, Schwester." Grace reached to remove the stainless steel bowl from Maggie's lap. "I dare say you'd work your fingers to the bone if I didn't speak up." Suffering in silence. Maggie realized that her sister was only trying to remind her to go easy when the pain became too great. It had been so hard to bear after Mom's funeral, and things had only worsened when Dot had decided to marry a young woman just 7 short months later. "Yeah, I'd best be stopping for a while." Maggie rose slowly. She struggled to live with the near-constant discomfort, despite the aspirin she sometimes took when it felt nearly intolerable. "It'd make good sense for Rachel to offer to finish up for you, if you ask me." Grace glanced toward the window. Then, offering a hand to Maggie, she added in a softer voice, "Ain't like she's busy with any little ones."